Okay, good morning, everyone. I'd like to call this meeting of the Texas Lottery Commission to order. Today is September 11th. The time is 9:30 a.m. We have all commissioners here. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance to the U.S. and the Texas flags.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States.
Okay, to my colleagues and public, thank you all for joining us and being here for this special called meeting. We have several initiatives to discuss on the important topic of prohibiting sales of lottery tickets to minors under the Lottery State Act. That is the prohibition on a retailer selling or offering the sale of lottery tickets to any person under the age of 18. At the agency Sunset Advisory Commission hearing on August 14th, we heard the concerns of legislators regarding the important issue of what this commission has done and is doing to prevent the sale of lottery tickets to minors. As I stated at the hearing, this commission has a zero tolerance for any retailer selling lottery tickets to minors. At today's meeting, we are affirming this policy, and it is my intention for the commission to take action to reinforce it and to send a strong message to our licensed retailers, our players, and the public that this activity will not be tolerated at all. But before we move forward with that discussion, our first item will be to go into executive session. I move that the Texas Lottery Commission go into executive session to deliberate personnel matters and to receive legal advice. Yes, so is there a second? We have that. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Okay, the Lottery Commission will go into executive session at 9:32 a.m. on September 11th, 2024. Okay, the Texas Lottery Commission is out of executive session at 9:53 a.m. I anticipate the commission will be taking action later in this meeting, but there is no action to take now. Our first discussion item, I've asked our executive director, Ryan, to report to the commission's past and current initiatives to prevent sales to minors and to lay out what the agency has put into motion for the future to further ensure that retailers are clearly educated about the statutory prohibition and the commission's zero tolerance policy that minors are not able to purchase lottery tickets. Ryan.
Thank you and good morning, Chairman and Commissioners. For the record, my name is Ryan Mindell. I'm the Executive Director. I'd like to start my report on this item by reviewing with you a presentation that the Lottery Operations Division has put together, covering our historical initiatives regarding lottery tickets and minors, as well as a communications campaign the agency put together starting last month. After the presentation, I'll report on some activities by our enforcement division, and I'll close with a contractual update. So again, as we start the presentation, I'm going to first cover initiatives we've had in place for a number of years. We've taken this issue very seriously. I think you'll see that as we work through these materials. If we start on slide 3, this slide will cover one of our main points of messaging, and that's you must be 18 or older to purchase a lottery ticket. This messaging is included on all of our tickets, scratch tickets, and draw tickets. It's included on what we call our point of sale materials. So those are items like posters that are put near the point of purchase, advertising our lottery products. We also include that messaging on our digital marketing screens that we have on most retail locations in the states. We call that we call that ESMM, so that's the technical term. But it's a digital screen that cycles through different messaging, and we make sure that we include that. We also have that on materials at our short-term selling locations like fairs and festivals that we do throughout the state. We include this information, must be 18 or older to purchase a ticket, on all of our self-service vending machines. We provide retailers a remote shut-off device that they're instructed to use if they see minors interacting with the machine. More to come on that. There's, again, a number of retailer communications, manuals, brochures, and other campaigns that include this messaging throughout the year. On the next slide, we're going to start covering some information we have on our website. And this is what we broadly call social responsibility section of the website, but it encompasses our responsible gambling program. That's RG for short. And RG contains a lot of information about the prohibition on minors purchasing lottery tickets. And I do want to give some context about our RG program because I think that's important here. Problem gambling in the RG program is focused on more than just underage gambling, but again, it's a significant focus of what we do on RG. Our RG program was certified in 2015 by the World Lottery Association. As part of that review, they had an independent review panel, and that panel gave the agency's player education the highest rating of all of our RG program elements. In 2016, we leveled up. We received a level 3 World Lottery Association certification for our RG program. The independent assessment panel at that time said, quote, "The focus of our player education program has been on underage control and promoting play responsibly messages." There's also in the States the National Council on Problem Gambling. They worked with the North American Association for State and Provincial Lotteries, NASPL, to introduce an RG parallel verification program that works hand in hand with the World Lottery Association program. We have achieved the highest level of certification from that National Council on Problem Gambling program. The World Lottery Association recertified our RG program at level 3 in 2020. At that time, they noted, among other things, that a main focus of our RG program is underage gambling. They also said that our RG program is, quote, "well implemented and integrated in our organization." Now, our current World Lottery Association and National Council on Problem Gambling certifications are valid until 2026. We have every expectation that we'll continue to be recognized for efforts in this area. In fact, just last year, we won 2 awards at the NASPL annual meeting relating to our RG program. We won the award for responsible gambling communication in digital media and the award for responsible gambling communications in print. Overall, I'm very pleased with the work that's gone into our RG program over the years. I'm going to continue to make this a priority for the agency. I did want to take a moment to recognize Teresa Edwards, who runs that program for many years, in addition to her other duties, put a lot of work into this presentation. With that, I'm going to move on to the next slide, which has more information about the RG section of our website. And again, here we call out, you must be 18 or older to purchase a ticket or redeem a prize at retail. We also have a link here to the International Center for Youth Gambling Problems. It contains additional information about the risk of youth gambling. We think this information is valuable for retailers, the public, parents, and all other stakeholders. On the next slide, we'll finish up the information that we provide on our website with a page we have about getting help. And again, here we re-emphasize lotteries for those 18 and older, and we again have the link on youth gambling. On the next slide, we have materials more focused on our retailers. On some of the materials I mentioned, called point of sale, we have the opportunity to put messaging facing the clerk as well. So one side faces the player and we'll have message about the new game that's in market. But on the reverse side, we have a message to the clerk for the retailer to give them reminders about different violations that we want them to be aware of. Rotate those messages over time. But again, we include reminders in that program, both for the violation of retailers not selling tickets to minors and also not paying prizes to minors. I have two other examples on this slide that come from what we call the Retailer Roundup magazine. This is a monthly magazine that we put together that has a number of points of emphasis for our retailers. Might have updated sales material and other information. But again, we include updated regulatory reminders about appropriate retailer behavior. These reminders have regularly included messaging about how retailers are not authorized to sell tickets to minors or pay lottery prizes to minors. On the next slide, I wanted to cover our annual Gift Responsibly campaign. We've worked with the National Council for Problem Gambling and the International Center for Youth Gambling Problems since 2009 on this campaign. This effort is part of that recognized RG program I talked about before, but it's focused specifically on lottery purchases around the holidays. As part of this campaign, we will deploy messages in many of the places I mentioned before, like the monthly Retailer Roundup magazine and that digital ESMM screen that we have at retailer locations. But we also include messages sent directly to the lottery terminal at retail, social media messages for the public, emails to players who have subscribed to our lottery email list, and emails to TLC employees and vendors. The next slide provides some more examples of what that program looks like. Again, we heavily emphasize that lottery tickets are not child's play. That's the messaging for the holiday campaign, and we put it out in a number of different locations. So that covers really what we've done historically on a regular basis. Next, I want to cover the communication campaign that the staff put together in light of the concerns raised at the August 14 hearing. Again, we have a substantial amount of communication and market throughout the year, but we wanted to supplement that with an additional campaign to re-emphasize the message. Lottery is not for kids. So first, on the next slide, we issued what's called an urgent terminal message to retailers, reminding them not to sell lottery tickets to minors. This is printed out right on their retailer terminal, and they have to receive that message to pursue additional sales on that terminal. Really, it's the fastest way to get vital information to retailers. We're going to be repeating that throughout the fall. On the next slide, we used our social media channels. So that's Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and X to get the word out. We use this across all the channels, and again, it's going to be repeated throughout the fall. Next, we also utilized the mobile app, the new functionality that we have to issue what's called a push notification. You might be familiar with these on your phone from various apps, but basically it's going to send a message to your phone. So if you're in the app and the Texas Lottery app, it might look like a pop-up, or it might go to your home screen, your notification area. And again, we're reminding our players that you must be 18 or older to purchase a lottery ticket. We'll be repeating this message additional times throughout the fall. On the next slide, have details of the subscriber email communications. We sent emails to our subscribers about how minors should not be buying lottery tickets. Now, I'll just note here, those last couple, the social media, these app notifications, these email notifications, we'd call that the public. Those are players, other people that are interested in our message. But we do have a number of lottery retailers that use these methods as well to keep up with what we're doing. And so I think we reached a non-insubstantial amount of retailers or retailer employees with these messages as well. On the next slide, I mentioned the monthly Roundup magazine. We wanted to make sure that we included a message on this issue on minors buying tickets in the October edition of Roundup. That will go to our retailer base later this month. We had talked about the digital ESMM displays. So on the next slide, we're talking about the messaging that we added to the ESMM slide. Now, this takes a little bit more work to get into market. So we were able to get a slide into the show that's going to be at the State Fair of Texas later this month. And then that's going to be going out to all retailers starting in November. And again, the message here, you must be 18 or older to purchase or redeem tickets at retail. We also include a digital banner on the digital self-service machines we have called GT20s, and that's going to start next month as well. Last but not least, we wanted to supplement on the next slide the information from our website. So I showed you some of the information we have about our RG program, the messaging we have to say, hey, lottery's not for retail, it's part of the problem gambling campaign. But we also have areas on our website that really focus for retailers. They have a different information that they can use to get what they need for their business. So we added information here on the retailer's main information page, again, detailing it's a criminal offense to knowingly, intentionally sell a lottery ticket to a minor. On the next slide, we added a link on the RG section of the retailer page, again, linking back to that information about minors and lottery. So I'm going to end with a slide that has a lot of information. And so I want to make sure this is not intended for every bit of it to be absorbed, but I thought it was worthwhile to show the scope of the communication that we put together on this issue. So on my last slide, you can see the full schedule of communications we have planned for the rest of the year. Yellow highlights are retailer focused, blue highlights are player public focused. Again, this is a lot of information. It's really just meant to demonstrate the full scope of the communications plan. We believe that this is extremely robust and it demonstrates how important this issue is to our agency. So again, that concludes the part of the presentation on the communication efforts we've done. I did want to provide some information from our enforcement division concerning the sale of lottery tickets to minors. To start that part, I just want to give some context as well. So the agency employs 9 field investigators, including 2 managers. We have, of course, over 21,000 retailers selling Texas lottery products. So our enforcement program is always going to be complaint and referral driven. We do believe that we effectively respond and investigate all the complaints we receive from the public, as well as questionable claims that come in through our claim center. We do not have the ability to be present for every transaction, as there's well over 1 billion tickets sold in Texas every year. With that introduction, though, I will share that since 2014, the Texas Lottery has received 21 complaints regarding the sale of lottery tickets to minors. Now, during that time, there were approximately 5,000 complaint investigations and over 12,000 total investigations conducted by the Enforcement Division. Of the 21 complaints that we received, 4 were substantiated. 2 were brought to the commission, and in both cases, the retailer was given a suspension. One case was prepared to be brought to you, but the retailer surrendered their license prior to presentation to the board. And the 4th has been referred to Lottery Operations Division, is being considered for administrative action right now. For the other 17 cases, 1 is currently under investigation. The remaining 16 investigations did not result in sufficient evidence to support a violation. Now, there are several challenges in these cases. Often a person who makes a complaint might wish to remain anonymous, or they're reluctant or unable to provide additional details needed for us to investigate. But if we have not been able to develop evidence to substantiate the allegation, if the allegation involved a self-service vending machine, we always try to take that opportunity to educate and remind store staff on the use of the remote that I mentioned to disable the machine if they see minors are attempting to access it. And in some cases, we recommended relocating the machine to a spot where it's more easily observed. That brings me to my last update. Again, we have over 3,000 of these self-service vending machines at retailers today. I do believe that it is time to add additional safeguards for that equipment to proactively address any potential use by minors. I've instructed our system vendor, IGT, who provides that equipment to us, to implement age verification functionality by the end of the year. That would require scanning of identification to initiate a lottery purchase at the self-service machine. IGT is finalizing the technical approach to achieve that, but I'm optimistic we can achieve that goal. So in closing, I think the agency has communicated on this issue for years, but we've stepped up our efforts recently. We want to make it clear to everyone involved in lottery in Texas, retailers, players, parents, vendors, and staff, minors should not be purchasing lottery tickets. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Okay. Brian, thank you very much for your detailed analysis and an overview, and just it's testament to how seriously that you and staff and the lottery take this issue. So thank you for your leadership. What we have heard today and the rule change that we will be considering next on the agenda clearly reinforces this commission's zero tolerance to the sale of minors. But before we move on to the next item, I'd like to open the floor to my fellow commissioners for their comment.
Yeah, I'd just like to thank you, Commissioner, Mr. Chairman, for providing this venue for the commission to reiterate, and as Ryan pointed out, to demonstrate the seriousness with which we take this issue and have always taken with this issue, and then also to provide an opportunity to, as we always want to do better where we can and where we see opportunities. So thanks, Ryan, for the thorough background on that, and I think it's good for the public to hear these things which go on behind the scenes that only retailers and folks who may be playing will generally see, and to share that with the general public, and also that history of the related complaints and how few have actually come forward, and the way that they've been handled each time, and I think the activity the initiative we're gonna take today will just further tighten that up. And again, I'm really proud of the work that our staff has done on this, and as evidenced by the awards we receive from national and international recognition. So frankly, proud of our work on this, and proud that we're going to keep moving forward on it, and where we see opportunities to fix it, we will. So thanks, Mr. Chairman, and thanks, Ryan.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner. Cindy?
I'd like to say I agree with everything that Commissioner France said, and I agree that this is an important issue for this commission and for the agency to be focused on. Texas lottery tickets should not be purchased by minors, and we need to ensure that our licensed retailers and the public understand this, and that the retailers understand the consequences of knowingly selling tickets to minors. And as Ryan's presentation showed, I believe this has always been top of mind with the staff, and they're working really hard in this regard. We can always find ways to improve and strengthen the messaging, though, so all stakeholders clearly understand the requirements. I'm looking forward to working with all of you guys and Ryan on this and his team on this issue and getting it tightened up a bit.
Okay, Commissioner.
Thank you. I also would like to echo what my fellow commissioners have said, and hopefully after reviewing our past actions and the actions we're taking today, it is abundantly clear that under no circumstances should minors be purchasing lottery tickets. So thank you again, Mr. Chairman, and the staff and Executive Director for all the work that's gone into this today.
Thanks, Chairman. Thanks, Ryan, for the background history on this. I'm confident that we've always taken this very, very seriously, and you guys have done a good job with it. But I also am very pleased to see us putting this up sort of front and center as a true priority. It's obviously important for the legislature, which means it's important for us. I'll also just to add, obviously, our efforts and endeavors to educate retailers is paramount. I'd also encourage us to find ways to deter kids from buying lottery tickets. And if that's with proactive messaging on the self-purchase machines or elsewhere, to make it clear you're breaking the law if you're trying to buy a ticket. And so, yeah, with that, again, I'm just glad we're moving in this direction.
Wonderful. Well, just again, grateful to all of our commissioners for the work that y'all are putting in on this, and again, to staff and to our retailers, that it is an absolutely clear message that selling to minors is just not allowed. And if you do, you will not be selling lottery, period. And so this initiative is something that I'm absolutely 100%, along with all of our commissioners, in support of. And so grateful for all the work that is gone on. So the next item is the lottery rule proposal. Bob, your item.
Good morning, Commissioners. I'm Bob Beard, General Counsel. Item 3 is a proposal to amend 2 lottery licensing rules. Rule 401.158 on suspension or revocation of license, and Rule 401.160, the standard penalty chart. The purpose of the proposed amendments is to reinforce the Commission's zero tolerance policy regarding a Texas lottery retailer selling lottery tickets to a minor, by requiring revocation of the retailer's license in all cases involving a violation of a law or commission rule where the licensee intentionally or knowingly sells or offers to sell a lottery ticket to a person that the licensee knows is younger than 18 years of age. This violation comes from a criminal statute in the State Lottery Act at Texas Government Code Section 466.3051. Under this rule proposal, the exclusive penalty for a first-time violation will be revocation of the retailer's license. Staff recommends approval to publish the proposal in the Texas Register to receive comments for 30 days. If you approve, the official publication date will be Friday, September 27th, and the comment period will end Monday, October 28th. The amendments may be adopted anytime after the comment period ends. And it's my understanding that we have another commission meeting set for late October. So it'll be timely. You will be able to adopt the rules at that time. I'll be happy to answer any question.
Okay, Bob, thank you. Commissioners, any discussion? Okay, is there a motion to publish the rule proposal for public comment?
I so move.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. Next item is public comment.
I have received no requests for public comment.
Okay, Bob, thank you. Commissioners, I believe this concludes business for this commission meeting. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Okay, is there a second? Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, we are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, sir.